Clear prop. All right, guys, here we go. This is our solo flight, first solo flight, and this is a very exciting and a nerve-wracking thing. Exciting because it is a milestone that you come to whenever you're taking flight lessons, and there comes a time in the middle of your flight lessons that you have to solo the plane. You have to fly the plane by yourself, and we'll have to, I believe, have a minimum of 5 hours of solo flight time in order for you to get your private pilot license during your training. And this is one of many. So needless to say, I am a bit nervous at this point. And if you watched the last video, you've seen that we went up with the instructor several times. And I believe we made 4 takeoffs and 4 landings. And then we took the plane back to the tarmac, and we went inside, and he filled out the necessary paperwork in order for me to be able to solo the plane. And so here we are. I got back in the plane. Obviously, you can see he's not in there. And doing everything I normally would, going through the checklist, going through the run-up, making sure the plane's working as it should. And you probably seen me take my hat off as I was taxiing down the taxiway there. And it is extremely hot. And this plane, it does not have air conditioner in it. And it does have a little window on my left-hand side there. You might be able to see it where I can open. I'm closing it there now. And but it's hot inside the plane there. So here we go. We're about to take off for the first time by myself, and just about to realize how different the plane acts by itself here. And we're going to play it in real time. And so very exciting. And I asked my instructor if he was as nervous as I was, and he told me he wasn't nervous. But then after the fact, he told me he was really nervous because I was his first. He has just become an instructor, and I was actually his first student solo. And so here we go. We are full throttle, full mixture there, full throttle, and we are taking off down the runway, about ready to take off. There we go. First time lifting off as a solo pilot. Just how different the plane reacts with half the weight in there. And the plane itself, it's not a big plane. It's a 4-seater. You can't put 4 grown men in it. Once you get up, we've had some 3 grown men in this plane. Without that extra weight in there, it really likes to climb, and it climbs a lot better. And we found out that it does not like to descend like it normally would with the weight in there. So here I'm going to go up, and I'm just going to make a traffic pattern like I normally would. And so we're going up, doing the series of left-hand turns to get us coming back down the runway that we took off from. That's runway 16, and just doing everything I normally would. I hate that the audio wasn't working on this flight here, and we now got it working though. So any other future videos should have audio of being able to listen to the air traffic control and listen to other planes and whoever else is flying over here. So here we can see making my downwind turn where we're going to be flying parallel with the runway. You see me keep reaching down in the middle of the seats there, and that is a trim tab. So if you adjust that trim, it helps you where you don't have to hold back on the yoke or push forward on the yoke. It keeps you level flight there, kind of like a poor man's autopilot. All right, so I keep looking out left out the window there, And again, as I get parallel to the 1.6 numbers on the runway, I drop the throttle down to about 1700 RPMs. I pulled that first notch of flaps up, and again, that helps you start slowing down, and it helps you to get down in the air. And we're pitching the nose down here, and I'm looking out my window. I kind of got a couple cheat references there. There's a water tower that we can make a turn over, but when you're flying that parallel leg of the flight there, you look about 45 degrees out your window there, and once you're about 45 degrees within the runway, then you make that turn that I just made there. Right there, I just pulled the second notch of flaps up, and again, that helps you get down a little bit more. And here we are starting to make our final turn. This is going to be my first landing solo by myself with nobody else in the plane. So here we have the runway straight ahead of us here, as you can see it there, and constantly, anytime I'm not adjusting the flaps or adjusting the trim, I got my hand on that throttle, and it really helps you out. Is that you just give a little bit of throttle and it raises you up and down pretty good bit of elevation there. And so just coming in, trying to get lined up with the runway as best as I can. Looks like just about to hit these cars right here, but we're a good bit over the top of them. All right, and there's my first landing. That landing there was definitely a lot harder than I wanted it to be, and messed me up just a little bit not having extra weight in there. Actually, I didn't flare right before you're supposed to touch down. You got to pull back on the yoke some, flare it up, and try to hold it off a little bit. But I didn't flare as much as I should have, or as early as I should have, and so flared a little late here. So now we're gonna taxi back to the front of the runway 16, and we're gonna do it once more. All right, here we go. We're taking off again. This is the second takeoff, and we do this. I do this 3 times. I believe the last time I landed, the camera sitting in the top of the plane here. It's mounted to the top of the inside of the plane, and it's extremely hot inside this plane. I think the camera overheated and turned off. And but we're gonna fly it one more time here, and we're gonna fly the pattern one more time. We're gonna land. As you can see there, we just made our second landing. And as I'm taxiing down the runway here, you can see that my hands are not on the yoke. And this is a habit that I had to break pretty early. I was trying to steer the plane with the yoke. But as you steer the plane, it steers with the nose wheel, the one wheel that's out front there, and it actually steers with your feet. If you did not know, you steer the plane with your feet on the ground, and then when you're in the air, it moves the rudder. And so it moves the rudder when you're on the ground too, but it doesn't really do much unless you're going down the runway. And so I'm steering the plane with my feet. Again, I have to get away from, and I oftentimes catch myself as I get in my truck after I fly to head down the road, expecting the truck to turn one way or the other when I hit the brake or hit the gas here. So we're going to take back off one more time in my solo flight here, and I don't think we catch the landing here, but on the GoPro. But we take off one more time and land one more time.